Hello everyone, welcome to IAS Academy. In this video, we'll be discussing about how to read the Hindu newspaper. During the initial stages of preparation, every aspirant faces this issue. Most of the aspirants says that it takes about 3 to 4 hours in order to finish one reading of a Hindu newspaper. But this is not possible, this is not feasible as we have a huge syllabus to cover, and if you are taking 3 to 4 hours of a day in reading this newspaper, then it won't be good enough for covering the other aspects, right? So in this video we'll look at some of the tricks that we can use in order to finish the Hindu newspaper reading, Hindu newspaper within 1 or 1.5 hours. So firstly, what we need to do is recon. That is, you have to scan the newspaper. And what are we scanning for? We are scanning for keywords. We are looking for keywords mentioned in syllabus. So for that, the most important thing is that you read the syllabus. Every aspirant have to read the syllabus and understand the syllabus and need to have those keywords marked in your brain. Then in that case, you will understand what is important and what is not. So once you look at the Hindu newspaper, this is the first page, alright. This is talking about 20 flyers from UK test positive. So this is regarding the new variant of COVID-19 which has emerged in UK, and you need to know about that, but this is just an update of that news. So in that case, this is not important. But if you are a beginner and you know nothing about the new variant of coronavirus, then you need to search and get to know about those facts. Okay, you have to do some research, you have to search in Google, but otherwise if you have been tracking, in that case this won't be very important. The farmers to take a call on offer to talks today. So this is an update about the farmers issue, the farmers protest that's going on. In that case, this is important. So you need to know what are the farm bills. There are 3 farm bills which have been passed by the government, right? So you need to know about what are the aspects regarding this, what is mentioned, what are the provisions of these bills. So you need to know how the bill is getting rid of the middleman and providing the farmers a better opportunity in order to sell their products at a better price to the corporates. But in that case, so the bill looks really good, you have to know about the bill, and then you have to know about the criticism of the bill, that how these corporates can exploit these people by using the vague provisions in it, how the bill is not talking much about not really ensuring the MSP, all those issues. You need to know about that. For that, you need to do some research. You have to, if you are a beginner and you have not been tracking newspaper, then you have to Google it and get to know about it, right? So you can also refer to our current affair materials where we have explained entirely about how every aspect of these farm bills. So that's what you need to know. So then you have another article here, Fireflies to shine a light for great Indian bustards. So in this case, about great Indian bustards. So this is important because here you see Ministry of Environment. So as the word environment comes. So this is important. This is part of the syllabus, right? So in that case, you need to know great Indian bustard. In which IUCN list does it comes to? So it comes to you have to read the article and get to know what is the innovative program that they have done in order to avoid the collision of these birds with electrical lines. So they are providing some kind of lighting, and as a result the birds will be warned. But at the same time, you need to research a little bit and get to know which IUCN list this bird falls into, whether it is critically endangered or it is endangered. So IUCN has like 7 lists, like where they are talking about extinct in wild. They have a list: extinct in wild, critically endangered, vulnerable. So least concern, like that. There's a list. So you need to know entirely about what IUCN is. These organizations are. What is the status of this bird? So all these things comes in your topic. So you have to be well versed in those the keywords in the syllabus. So then national news, yes. National news is important because news of national importance is going to be there. But before that, you have to, after the first page, you have to avoid the city-state pages. Because in this case, city and state pages are going to have all the local issues. So local issues are not really important when it comes to UPSC exam. So unless those pages are not talking about things that are of national importance. For example, if there is in your state or in your city, there is a news regarding some environmental program, so which is of national importance, or let's say a calamity, a disaster has happened. In that case, that news becomes important. But most of the time, these pages are rarely important. Alright, so do not, it's better to skip these pages. National news is very important because it will talk about government schemes and other government source related articles. So you have to keep an eye on that and search for the keywords and find out which is important and not, just like we have talked about the first page. So the same thing you will have to do it here. Then comes editorials. So editorials is going to have, like people are going to give their opinion regarding this. So in this case, reading these articles will give you a different perspective towards different issues. So this is about COVID-19 and limits of political accountability. So read through the articles and get to know what the writer has to say about it, and pay attention to this last part, because in this last part there will be a conclusion kind of thing. You have to read the entire article, you have to read it fast and understand which are the important points, and do the same things, search for keywords. And yes, these last parts, if they are important, then they will have a conclusion talking about the positive aspects and also about the criticism, and then they will conclude the article. So this last part is going to be important, and also yes, these are also important. And if whatever you are reading, every time what is most important is the keywords. So for example, like see, playing a game of bring management in Nepal. So this is talking about the internal politics of Nepal. So in that case, this is not important, because when you are talking about the you need to know about international issues and all when it is affecting our country. In this case, it is entirely talking about the internal politics of Nepal, and you need to avoid the news that are in a political way, that are talking about political issues which is not of national importance. So that case you have to avoid it. Mayhem in Nigeria, again talking about the internal issues of Nigeria. But it is good to know about these things, but not really directly involved with UPSC syllabus. Then 5 years since Paris, an opportunity to build back better. So this is talking about the Paris summit, which is related to climate change and environment. So this becomes important, right? So you have to read through it and see what it is about. And this column is mostly about in 100 years or 50 years what has happened. Largely it's not important, but if anything that's of historical importance that appears in there and it's connected to your history, includes your top syllabus, then yes, obviously you can read that. Now about the international page. So largely it is not important, because there will be, as I said, if you're since international relations is really important, but mostly there will be updates about things that you already know about, which you have been tracking, which you know about. But in that case, what you can do is better look for monthly kind of material. We provide monthly kind of materials in our blogs, so you can go and look upon that rather than read a lot about this. For example, WHO calls meeting on new virus variant. WHO, this is very important organization, so you need to know about it. This is important. But it is about a meeting on new virus variant. So this updates is not really that important. But this organization is important. And then British PM EU chief discuss Brexit COVID-19 situation. So it is again internal issue. It won't really matter. But Brexit, you need to know about it. So you need to research. If you are asked like a beginner and do not know much about it, and in that case you have to research about it. So initially it's going to take some time, but gradually the time is going to decrease. So Nepal's ruling party appears headed for split, again internal issue not required. Now again, but when it comes to, I don't mean that when it comes to Nepal's issue it is not at all important. For example, a couple of years back, India has blocked the transport towards Nepal, the exchange of goods to Nepal. So in that case, we had an issue with Nepal. So in such situations, when you're answering a question in mains, so points like that will add value. Like citing an example like this would have a value. But other than that, which is completely of political character only, such articles are not important. Okay, so the next one is business page. Business page is very important regarding economy. Alright, so business page, you can avoid things like stock, changes in stock market, all those updates related to that. So those things you can avoid. But these things, that features about SEBI, RBI, IRDA, inflation, all these things becomes important. Government source articles are important. Monetary policy, fiscal policy are important. Budget, demographic, dividend. So all these things are keywords which are mentioned in the syllabus. So when you see those keywords, it is important. But these things which comes regarding some companies taking over another company or variation in stock exchange rates, all these things are not important. Science and technology. This is Thursday edition. So in this case, it is very important. Read it completely because UPSC have multiple times asked direct questions from it. So make good quality notes on it, and direct questions are expected. So read it thoroughly. Sports largely can be avoided because from sports rarely questions are asked, but like rarely once or twice it has asked because one time about Formula One racing there was a question. So it can like I'm not saying that it will be never asked, but it rarely happens. So anyway, it is a waste of time if you're spending too much time in sports page. So avoid it. And avoid open pages and supplementaries. Not at all important. Never read supplementaries for that. And do some research, go Google it. Yes. Every time you read the newspaper, there are going to be certain articles which does not completely talk about an issue. For example, see. Here itself. About Great Indian Bustard. So in this case, about its IUCN status, everything might not be mentioned. So in that case, what do you need to know? What do you need to do? In that case, you have to research. You have to search in Google that to understand more about it, or even about that farm bill that I was talking about. You see the farmers protest. In that case, if the bills and its criticism is not exactly mentioned in that article, then you have to go and spend, for example, let's say you take 1 hour for reading Hindu newspaper, then the next half an hour you will have to you have to do some research. You have to search and you have to find out what it is exactly about. Then yes, about making notes. One important thing that you have to do is that do not copy paste big sentences and all. When you are making note, try to catch the important points and just copy paste that. So do not copy paste the entire article. So that's a bad thing to do. And you can use apps like OneNote or any other open source software which is available, because then keeping a handwritten note might be difficult. For some people it might be comfortable. For most people, that might not be that easy. So in that case, you can use a software like that in order to keep your notes. So why is the Hindu a better option? Why everybody talks about Hindu? Firstly, it prioritizes the area of concern and avoids trivial issue. That is, it does not have a lot of masala in it. It contains news of national importance. Now, if you have been tracking news for a while, if you have been watching mainstream media in our country, you might be pretty aware that they are not doing ethical journalism. Because you turn on a channel, you see a journalist or a news anchor, I don't know if we can call them a journalist, but you see them shouting, you see them conducting debates on issues that are not at all important. For example, some about nepotism in Bollywood, or about a suicide of an actor, which are not at all important, not at all of national importance. So those are not the things that an aspirant, a UPSC aspirant needs to watch. Those are not the things that a future civil servant is supposed to watch. You need to know about issues that are going to affect the people of this country, and not some trivial masala issues. This you should completely avoid, because you are wasting your time there. What you need to do is follow factual newspapers, those who follow ethical journalism. You can subscribe to Rajya Sabha TV, you can follow Hindu, Kurukshetra, Yojana, all these books you can follow. And also listen to All India Radio. So that's why the Hindu is a better option. And most importantly, it is tried and tested. You ask any civil servant, you ask any aspirant who have cleared the exam, they will suggest you, they will never tell you to not read the Hindu. Hindu is very important. So that's all about this video. So to avail more videos like this, do subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can just search IAS Academy and you will find it. And also you can follow us on our Instagram page at Believers IAS, because there we post a lot of our updates and infographics and all. and you can also join our Telegram channel to avail our constant updates. And do check our website believersias.com, because then you will understand the kind of approach that we are taking towards this exam, and you will also get to see a lot of current affair materials and blog articles that we do.